Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel again. So here, as you know, the first round of the World Championship 2023 between GM Yan Nepomniachtchi, world number 2, and world number 3 Jian Ran from China has ended in a draw. It obviously was a pretty fascinating draw where Ding got, a pretty, I would say, passive positions. He had to defend, he had to defend precisely, right? To avoid being lost. And I think it is, a very nice game. So, the first game kind of predict a very fun event, a fun match, and something, people can enjoy, right? So today, round 2, Ding was white and Nepomniachtchi was black. To be honest, people, including me, kind of looking for like a Catalan, kind of expect something fun to happen, kind of expect something memorable. And in fact, it was memorable, but not in the way we're thinking. So, don't need to waste your guys' time. Let's get to the game right away. So, in the game, Ding was white, play d4, knight f6, c4, e6, f3, d5. We got a very normal position, right? And here, when me, Daniel, and Anish in the Chattercom commentary, and most people here kind of expect g3, which is the Catalan, right? Somehow here, Ding tried a very surprising move, h3. I will give this move an interesting mark this way. Not for its strength, but for the moment it was played. This one obviously surprised Nepomniachtchi, surprised everyone watching the game live. But okay, so I suppose the idea should be found by his second GM Richard Rapport from Hungary, right? Who is always known to be a very creative player who can find some very interesting and new, fresh ideas. So, in fact, even right now when I'm trying to go to look at the game, to analyze the game with you guys here, I still don't understand the move a lot. When I watch that live, I only think of G4, something crazy, but I realized it was very slow, and this attack should not be working at all. So, I guess the thing here, the move is not totally strong, but it just has some kind of surprising elements. So, in the game, after 10 minutes of thought, Yan trying to go for the c4. The Queen's Gambit accepted. Right? Somehow here, when I watch this, I even guess g4 can be played, But obviously it is very slow. Especially when black hadn't even castles. So now let's be 5 in here and black can be obtaining a very good positions. So, Ding come back to the board and play e3. That's one. c5 in the game. Nepomniachtchi chose a very principled approach. 4 here, a6. So now we basically got some kind of main position with the move h3 play. I will show you the main line here briefly. So d5, c4, dc4, knight 3, knight 6, e3 here, here, and here on c5, right? So now we can play dc5, can play b3, can play queen e2, knight c3, a4, blah blah blah, plenty of things. So here in the game, things only, things here I kind of understand from what Anish mentioned in the commentary. He said that. So the idea of here, I feel, is to make Nepomniachtchi feel like, that's why a bit confused and get him to some kind of position he never tried. Nepomniachtchi hasn't tried the Queen's Gambit accepted in the past, so he may not be familiar with the whole concept, which Ding should be, since he is the c4 player for the whole career, right? So here, it's not too easy, and in the game, so Ding just castles here. Okay, so I don't know. I feel the best option here to go for is like dc5 here, and then bishop c5 here, which should be pretty equal, isn't it? A very typical, I mean, queenless middle game of QGA is here again. But you know, with the h3, this feels a little slow for white, right? I think we can just like king e7 or b5 or whatever it is, and it should be pretty equal. In the game, nice hit reverse split bidding. Once again, pretty fast. b5. Black obviously can play cd4 too, which is also pretty fine here, right? But it is another type of positions. He played b5 instead. b5. Should be 3. Should be 7 here. So they still play pretty fast. He played a4. Before knight e4. So here Nepomniachtchi just came up. I'm pretty sure he's new here. To be honest, when I saw the game live, Nepomniachtchi seems to be not so happy. He seems to be a bit confused and not fully content with the positions. So, but here, after some thought here, he chose a super nice approach, knight e5. And for me, this deserves an exclamation mark. This one I think also shows that Nepo is just, I think, in a great form right now. He can just find something pretty nice and not so natural, even when he is, you know, I think, not so sure about what is going on in the game. So ideas here is that Black wants to sacrifice a pawn. So let's say if you play dc5 here, knight here drop, right? It's not right. But the main alternative is like this one, so Black takes, and I think go here. Which the pawn can be recaptured next. Bishop on c1 looks pretty passive, and the knight here can be taken, I mean the pawn here can be taken pretty soon, and the square here can also be get to as well. I don't know. I think Black should have some dynamic compensation for the pawn missing. But still, this still should be the best thing Dean should go for. The engine here suggested bishop d2, knight c5, bishop b4, and this kind of thing, which I think should be pretty equal, like dynamically equal, since Black only dealt a pawn, he got strong bishops. In the game, here Ding starts to sink into deep thought. He thinks for 33 minutes before going for a choice, which for me is a bit risky. The move is not this bad, but somehow it just plays into exactly Nepomniachtchi's favorite type of positions. As you know, Yan is always known to be a very strong player in complicated positions, in some kind of complex battle. So here, you just get right into Nepomniachtchi's hand. Suddenly, this one, you know, just make me feel a bit like questionable about Ding's strategy. He want to go for here, like h3, to make things like, you know, confused for Nepomniachtchi, make him to go for a kind of portion he didn't even try before. And then once again, he plays something a bit risky and get things into Nepomniachtchi's favorite positions. So, but I guess here it's just like Ding want to go for some kind of risk, and he kind of overestimated his positions. G6 looks a bit unnatural, but then the idea is simple. The rook g8 here can be played, and then the bishop here will be very, very strong. e4, Lysander, c4, bishop here, and queen 7, defend against bishop f4. So, as you can see here, now the king can be ready to go to castles in the queen side, and then somehow it's not too easy here for white to attack our king on c8. Also, here can come as well, you know, and there are plenty of ideas like f5, things this way, and like here, even here, so I'd like to put pressure on the king side. White must be alerted. Should d2, rook g8, rook c1, castles. Okay, so things here seems pretty natural, right? White thought, I think things should be thinking that he got some pressure here. And Nepomniachtchi, obviously, he got some pressure here as well. So, here it's not too easy to see things for white. I'm pretty sure here in the game they may have thought he should have some initiatives or some pressure on the c file, but now maybe to his horror he realized that nothing is clear. Let's say I will show you some samples here. Queen e1 for instance, right? Taking the pawn here, but this can run into f5 instantly. And bishop b4 take the pawn, right? If not, take here, losing your knight to the pin. Take here, just run into this. And now you can see the attack is just right here, right? 32 e3 looks devastating. But n9 e5 rook d4 isn't much better, isn't it? So queen e1 here is a bit slow. Queen e2 king b8 is not too bad for black as well, who now can prepare here and here and then here. In fact, when I look at this line with the engine, when I look at the whole thing here, I realize white has a very fun pattern which can be used here, but it is very unnatural. The idea is queen e2 first, king b8, and only now queen e1. I think this should be pretty fun thing to try. Because now the same idea shouldn't be that strong anymore. f5 takes and go here, and now sadly take here doesn't really work since the bishop is pinned, you know, which is how fun chess can be. So, but here I still think that black can just play maybe like queen b6 here and still can obtain some good portions later on. Since sadly it's not too clear how can white try and attack it, right? So here in the game, being tried bishop d3, attack the c pawn here and king b8. So now there's a pin in the c5, right? But here I'm pretty sure they thought there should be something here, but somehow that's not. I will show you some lies here that, you know, the pin doesn't even work for white's favor. The most clear-cut thing is bishop c4 simply can be dealt with like c4, e3, and bishop e4. And this one doesn't do fun at all. The pawn here is covered, and the pressure in this diagonal feels super dangerous, isn't it? If you play, let's say, b3 now, say here, c3 also doesn't look fun at all. Suddenly, the pawn on c3 can be a monster passers. Queen e2 is losing instantly, right? You drop a piece. The best attempt here to take the pawn can be like, let's say bishop c4 and queen e2. But it run to, I think, a pretty nice idea is here. Black group c8, b3, and then e2 exclamation mark. And then now, if you take here, just double piece, right? Take the queen, knight f3, it's a mezzo, and here, and then black had the wonderful bishop pair and the rook for the queen, which is definitely more than enough. So here they suddenly got down in time a lot. I'm pretty sure he tried his best to find something to do for his pieces, but somehow it's nothing. I think, which is, you know, a great disappointment for him. We won in the game, f5 exclamation mark. So here there are some super nice strategies here I want to show you guys for black. So here the most natural response, which is this one, right? Simply run into rook d4 exclamation mark. Open up things instantly. Now here, right? Rook g2, and here rook f2, and here this is once again a super nice way to mate here. See, right? A very weird but beautiful, spectacular mate. If he didn't take like the rook here, so this one for instance, right? He is just down a full piece, which is not fun either, isn't it? So here somehow after rook d4, black is just totally winning. And now what can you do now? If you play, let's say, queen e2, rook here again, right? And somehow here it feels like white is in some kind of zugzwang. The best engine line is like EF1, but you know, it obviously seems so unnatural. In the game, Ding tried C2, which is also one of the best tries for the engine. Knight C6. Bring the knight back here, attacking the pawn on D4, and it is in big pressure as well. Bishop E3 here is not working due to something like, let me just F4, right? And the pawn here will drop again. If you play like, D5 here, I think Nepomniachtchi can even try something very beautiful, guys. Like Bishop C5, for instance. It's very beautiful. Take here, and Queen G3 exclamation mark. Look at the pin, guys. This looks disastrous, isn't it? So this one just simply is a very good example of a strong minor pieces, especially the bishop pair. G5 in the game, attacking the rook here and want to get the bishop to here, defend a pawn. But then Nepom just carry out the first brilliant move of the game. Rook G5, 2 exclamation mark. A very strong but pretty understandable exchange sacrifice. The idea here is that after let's on here for instance, right? So king on d4 and all is open. Bishop pair come into life and the white rooks are just useless. So forcing 34, finish 5 and f6. The knight here is under attack. And it's not easy here for white to suggest anything special. The engine line here, the best one is something like this. But it doesn't look natural as well, as well. So somehow here, I'm pretty sure it's just not so fun here for Ding to play. Especially now, I'm pretty sure he just only have something like 5 minutes left. While, no, I think even like 2 minutes left. While Nepomniachtchi, 50 minutes. And there's no increment, right? Knight 3 in the game. Knight C2, simple play by Nepomniachtchi. C2, bishop E4, win another pawn, and bishop pair still looks devastating. D2, D6 here, avoid the threats. C3 is next. H1, avoiding this trick. H2, I mean here that is just like take here H2, win the rook here on D2, right? So H1, C3, takes, D4, C2, and the pawn here suddenly is too much. Queen here and E5. And then here Ding resign. D4 somehow is just totally trapped, right? It cannot go anywhere. Rook D2 is the only safe square, but it allows the queen promotion, right? Rook here, so here, and then rook D1 is taken as well too. And the pawn here couldn't be stopped. So Ding shook hand. So I can tell you that this win for me is very unexpected. Ding uncorked a very rare move, which I'm pretty sure just caused great surprise for not only Nepomniachtchi, but for most viewers watching. But somehow, Nepomniachtchi shows that he is in a great form by finding the most principled and I think, annoying way to deal with Ding's preparations. So now if I here just solve everything, and I'm pretty sure now he should be fine. H3 for me is just, a nice ideas that can maybe get Nepom out of books, but he just react too well. For me, Ding is also in some kind of mental pressure, and he seems to be, I think, putting a lot of pressure on him. I guess we don't have the chance to play the World Champion match in your career like plenty of times, right? So I think it is understandable for him to be a little bit like, I would say uncomfortable. But Nepomniachtchi, he played this one 2 years ago, right? He must be more experienced. So I am pretty sure not only me, but you guys also expect a fun match, right? And an interesting World Championship matches to be hosted. I really hope that Ding can maybe like draw some next games, like game 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe trying to get to the first half of the event, maybe down a point only. For me, Ding is the guy who can play better and better when the event just progress. I hope that he can untilt and at least play some better games. Whatever it is, I just want to support chess and chess. So I want to see some good games, isn't it? So once again, congrats to Nepomniachtchi who win a very beautiful game, and I feel sad for Ding myself, since in fact I'm rooting for him. But still, I still believe this should still be a fun matchups as soon as Ding can get back his own form. So, good luck to both players. I'm really looking forward to see some other fun and interesting battles coming up, and see you in some next videos. Peace.